I know On is famous for their Cloud Techs and they need their holes in the shoe. That's fine, keep the holes in the shoe, keep your Cloud Tech, keep it in the rear. But if you're gonna use this super foam, you need to let the super foam do its magic. Testing's complete and the scores are in, and this is the full review of the On CLOUDMONSTER HYPER. But before we get into it, a massive shout out to my #1 running store, the Running Company at Geelong. I've got a link to their website in the description. Make sure you go check out that and check out all their running gear. And if you guys want to support this channel, make sure you hit that subscribe button. So this Monster Hyper is On's first crack at a super trainer, and they certainly haven't missed us here with the price. They've got a super trainer price on it. It's almost super shoe price. So $320 here in Australia, $220 in the US. Now weight wise, 272 grams or 9.6 ounces. That's in your men's size 9. Stack heights wise, pretty generous stack, 37.5 in the rear, 31.5 in the front. And that's going to give us a 6mm drop. Now in the scores, for the weight, do I think this shoe is worth $320? No, I don't. I think it's overpriced. I think it's overpriced by about $40. So for me, it needs to come down. That's why it's getting 6 out of 10. Now in the weight, it's not too bad. So it's not an overly heavy shoe. However, it actually feels probably heavier on the foot than what the stats say. And I'm going to give it 7 out of 10. So in the upper here, the material that they're using is a microfiber woven type material. To me, it actually feels like a lot like satin. So it's got that real sheerness to it, really shiny. But breathability in this shoe probably could be better. So they've got this, they've changed the weave here in these sort of these breathing holes throughout the shoe. However, there's still not that much breathability. So it definitely could be better. Heel counter wise, we've got a pretty structured heel counter here. It doesn't have a solid cap in it, but it's certainly got a fair bit of structure to it. The padding is probably a generous amount of padding here, so it's probably on the medium side of padding, certainly not plush, but it's not too bad. Still pretty comfortable around the heel collar here. Now the tongue is quite thin, really premium feeling materials here. It's got a little bit of padding in the tongue. Now the tongue is gusseted, really nice, it doesn't move. It sits nicely on top of the foot. Now laces, they've got these really unique laces here. They're like thin ribbon laces, but they've actually got these little bits of silicone that are woven all the way through these shoelaces, and that's just to help obviously keep these shoelaces from coming undone. But saying that, I've actually had these shoelaces come undone once on the run, so it was probably my fault though. I probably just wasn't paying attention. I didn't do them up properly, but yeah, these fancy shoelaces have come undone. Interesting lacing system, so it's the same as what you're going to find on any other CLOUDMONSTER. They just sort of weave through these lace loops, but not too bad here. Lockdown in this shoe, no dramas whatsoever, but the fit. So this is a big fit. You need to come down half a size. Well, that is my recommendation. I've come down half a size and it is perfect. My original size feels huge and floppy, and it's just no good. So half size down. Length, width wise, sorry, I think it's about medium. So I'm not having any toe rubbing or any width issues in this. Comfort wise, it's a very comfortable shoe, especially if you get your right size. And build quality is absolutely excellent in this shoe. So the upper in this shoe is certainly one of the highlights. It's one of the best well-made shoes I've ever seen. Certainly really high in the comfort department. I like it a lot. Just needs to be more breathable, 8.5 out of 10. And with our outsole here, so we have got, they've pretty much just got their rubber coverage, majority of the forefoot there, so on the pod, sort of where it hits the ground, but mainly on the lateral side of the shoe, as you can see there, and also in the high wear areas at the back. Now this rubber is quite thick, so yeah, it's quite thick, and it goes into this midsole foam quite a bit, and also the tread pattern on this shoe is actually quite aggressive. So it actually goes really, really nicely on a dirt road or a fire trail. So yeah, quite an aggressive, you don't really see an aggressive pattern like this on a road shoe. Certainly on those, certainly those light trail shoes, you certainly see that. But yeah, So saying that though, this aggressive tread pattern is showing signs of wear. So these lugs have actually worn down quite quickly, but I think that the rubber is thick enough that it's not really going to affect the durability of the shoe. It's probably going to affect the grip though, if you probably wear these down and it goes to a slick surface. So yeah, just be wary about that. But grip wise at the moment with tread on it, it's pretty good in all conditions. A little bit slippery on a freshly wet road, but not concerning at all. In the dry conditions, always excellent. And yeah, as I said before, on a dirt, really, really nice. So you can also see what they've also done here on the outside. They've sort of filled in this cavity as well, so you're not going to have any debris or rocks caught in it like the original Cloud Monster did. But overall, not too bad here with the outsole. I quite like it, 8 out of 10. And in our midsole, so we have got a dual density thing going on here. So they have got their premium Pebax foam, so their Helion HF, that's what they use in their race shoes, so the Echo Boom 3. And that's mainly just this that white stuff you can see there. So it's mainly in the forefoot of the shoe that goes down to the midfoot. So that's where this super foam is. And then they've got their normal Helion foam, which obviously includes these Cloud Tech. So the Cloud Tech is these holes that you see in this shoe, or these hexagons, and that's what On is famous for in their shoes. So all their shoes have got these holes in it, all varying different shapes, but that's what they call their Cloud Tech. But yeah, Helion foam, then Helion HF super foam in the forefoot. Now, is there a speed board in the shoe like the rest of the Monster? No, there's not. So there's no speed board, there's no carbon plate or anything like that. However, this shoe is still pretty rigid. So it still feels like it could have something in there. It probably doesn't need a speed board in it because it's rigid enough. Now, geometry-wise, there certainly is some forefoot rocker geometry in this, and you can feel it more, I think, when you're walking. When you're running, it doesn't really feel too super aggressive. You don't get that tip forward feeling like you can in other shoes. Yeah, so don't really feel the rocker on the run, but certainly in the walking. Now, in the ride, first word that is coming to mind is gutsy. So it feels like a really solid shoe underfoot, so lots and lots of cushion. You feel really protected from the road. Yeah, it probably feels a little bottom heavy, like you feel like there's lots and lots of foam or lots going on just in this midsole part. But yeah, very gutsy. It's soft enough, so certainly soft enough to take the panning out of the road. You get some nice cushion here through the rear. So these Cloud Tech, these holes just collapse and obviously take some cushion out. It's not pillowy soft, it's not squishy or anything like that. And into the forefoot of this shoe, well, yes, you do sink into this, this super foam. However, you don't get much bounce or pop back. So for me, it's not overly bouncy or overly responsive or exciting at all. It just feels like, yeah, you go into it and there is a little bit of pop there. There's a little bit of bounce, there's a little bit of responsiveness, but it's certainly not weighing me this ride. I think what's happened here is they've muffled it here with these Cloud Tech. So you can see that it's encased in this Helion foam. They've got there's some holes under the forefoot here, so you're not actually getting the super foam touching the ground or any hard surface. So for me, it's got nothing to rebound and to pop off. So for me, that's like they've taken the teeth out of the tiger here. So it's confusing to me why they've done it. They've gone to the effort to put the super foam in it, but why muffle it? So that's the feeling that I get from this shoe. Yeah, it's soft enough. It's got a bit of lively enough. It's got a bit of liveliness, but it's obviously it's not that exciting on the road. It's a very consistent ride, so it doesn't break down and get all squishy on you. It never feels like your foot's getting tired of this shoe. Your legs don't feel tired, so it certainly does what it says. It's going to say that it's going to keep your legs nice and fresh. So I agree with that, but I do not agree with this shoe being responsive. So I don't see it as a workout shoe. I don't see it being bouncy or poppy either. So for me, yeah, just a really solid, gutsy shoe. That's obviously, it feels like it's going to last a long time. But where this shoe does feel absolutely amazing, and that is on a dirt road or a fire trail. So I just think that uneven surfaces, so when you get some rocks and stuff punching through this cloud tech and they're going through these holes, and I think it's actually, for me, it allows me to sink into this super foam a little bit, and then I feel the responsiveness and the bounce, and this shoe does come alive more for me on a dirt road. So yeah, for me, really nice on a dirt road, on a flat, nice flat tar surface, on a road, on a footpath. Yeah, I'm not getting much wow factor, but on the dirt, it feels really, really nice. But saying that, this is not a trail shoe, so don't go jumping around in those technical trails. Could be a little bit dangerous for that, but yeah, just on a nice dirt road, this thing's fine and it feels really nice. So scores wise, as I've just said, it's lacking wow factor. They've taken the teeth out of the tiger. This super foam is muffled. Is it a bad ride? Doesn't. It's okay. There's too much shoe, there's too much of this midsole going on here. It doesn't feel fast enough for me. It's a bit too heavy. Easy pace, yeah, that's fine. It's okay, it's soft enough. Recovery, yeah, it's fine, but I still think there's better easy day shoes and recovery day shoes on the market. And who is this shoe best for? So if you are an On fan and you just love the brand, you're probably going to like this one. It's certainly a good upgrade, or it's certainly the better option out of this and the new Cloud Monster 2. Also, if you're a heavier runner, you are going to get along with this shoe better, because I think you're going to be able to get down and compress these clouds and dig into this super foam a lot more than I can. So other shoes to consider if you're looking at this one. So first one is coming to mind is the original On Cloud Monster. So if you can pick up a pair of those that are still floating around, well, I think that shoe actually delivers what they promised that this shoe does. So it certainly feels it's responsive, it's very versatile, it's nice and lively, it's got a super trainer feel about it. It's going to be cheaper than this one, so check that one out. Also, the up-and-coming release of the Mizuno Neo Vista. Now that shoe is a super trainer. So really soft, bouncy, super foam. It's got a plate in it. It's nice and rocked. Now that one has got, it really does have that super shoe feeling in a training shoe package. So really, really nice, that one. And the last one, the king of the super trainers, the Asics Super Blast. So that is at the same price point in Australia as this shoe. I know that where my money is going, if I had the choice between this and the Super Blast, it's not going to this one, that's for sure. So this is not a bad shoe by any means. So I am quite critical of this shoe, and that's because of the price point. I can really appreciate the tech and the thought that has gone into this shoe. However, I'm just confused by the execution of this shoe. So they've come really close here, I think, in delivering an amazing shoe. I think where they've gone wrong is certainly how they've muffled this super foam. So yeah, the inclusion or the encasement of this, of putting the cloud text around the super foam and not letting the super foam actually hit a nice hard firm surface to get your compression and your rebound off, has killed the shoe. So I don't know why they've done that. Hopefully in the new version they cut that away. I know On is famous for their cloud text and they need their holes in the shoe. That's fine. Keep the holes in the shoe, keep your cloud tech, keep it in the rear. But if you're going to use this super foam, you need to let the super foam do its magic. So yeah, don't muffle it. But anyway, all in all, that's my only real gripe with this shoe. It's priced so high for what you get. I'd probably agree with the price if I could actually feel the super foam, if I could feel the magic in it. But I don't really feel that. I feel it's a little bit there, but as I said, they've locked it up. They've locked it up. But anyway, not a bad score there. So there's nothing really I hate about this shoe, except I think it's overpriced. But yeah, it's a good shoe. It's okay. So, and the score certainly reflects what I think about the shoe.